I think we had three very interesting presentations, and one talking about the systems and structures, and more so on the economy and the economic structures and the technology adoption, learning curves, how better we can do still cutting waste, improving efficiencies, building up our GDPs, then the distribution, efficiency way of cutting the global warming threat. And then we had Guruji, simply good, who said that, all right, all this is fine, but who is going to do this? Who is this individual who is going to attempt it? And what should be this individual thinking? What should be his values? And I think in a very, very small, succinct equation form, he has presented beautiful, which he said that you have to be excellent, you have to be everything good, but with values. If you don't have ethics, and if you achieve excellence, if you use energy, if you do it on the economy, ecology, you are not going to really go away from this threat. That was an interesting way of looking at it, and therefore he was focusing on the individual, and Professor Asher was talking about efficiencies in the structure. Now, how do we take this kind of individual values in all this ethics to the systems? And I think Mandamin was talking about education, learning from people, communicating and teaching, learning and teaching, and all that. And I think this is, in that sense, a good synthesis these three speakers have given to us in the context of what we were talking about, today's threat as global warming, agriculture and sustainability. I thought that the matter was over, but it is in a way, in a general sense, if we're introducing this subject, I think it has been well done by all the three speakers, and really there is nothing much to add, except that I thought that I had some apprehensions about the way we are functioning as a society, and I thought I should share this view on a very, very specific sectoral note, even if it is in danger of narrowing it down too much. And I thought that agriculture was the main concern, that, and also Mandamin was trying to tell us that can we replace industry by agriculture? Now that's a well thought out and perhaps more desired way of looking at it. But what is, after all, this global warming issue? It's plain and simple. It's an issue of energy use. With all that efficiency that we are talking about, I think we are stuck somewhere, because the moment we dropped the soil economics as it was, we have dropped the S from the soil economics, and we know what economics it is. It is all oil economics. And the problem has just begun, because we are talking always about oil economics and then we are talking about efficiencies, but it was a real transformation of the energy source for production. And I am afraid that with all the wisdom that Guruji wants to give us, we are actually traveling on a very different path. West has already done it, and we are almost coerced and forced to do it that way, and the discourse is efficiency. And I have some problem with this. Because efficiency is not going to lead us to, it is going to help us reduce. It's not going to help us to get away. I would be very happy if 17% is the kind of GDP share that we achieve at the global level, and India is very happy to be at that share. But we just can't, it's going to be disastrous. And somebody said in the morning that we would perhaps require 2 or 3 Earths. I'll explain you why in the context of agriculture. What I see Indian agriculture as a problematic. What have we done? In the name of green revolution that we brought around, which I must admit at the outset did save the humanity, because we were able to produce grain which was not imagined in 1960s when I was in school, and I have seen in Kandla Port Trust the huge ships coming, bringing the PL 480 wheat to this country. From that stage to the plenty of grains that we have grown of green revolution, which is a fact, but I must also admit that this green revolution was nothing but agromechanical and biochemical technology. And what has happened to the externalities with all its efficiency, and I can give you the best example of efficiency of the kind of Indian efficiency if you want to look at. You will now see on the highways combined harvesters from Punjab travelling down to the nooks and corners of Kutch with a beautiful combined harvester and a motorcycle on it as if a family is travelling with a vehicle. And what is this doing? Because the agriculture capital, the mechanical capital in agriculture is being underused in Punjab and Haryana because it cannot be used. Now they are finding its application somewhere else. Now this kind of agromechanical and biochemical and agromechanical technologies have caused ruins in the sense of environment. We have not kept our mind and wisdom together to distinguish between drought-prone areas and the non-drought-prone areas. We have introduced consistently same kind of water-intensive technologies of what we call green revolution to most of the dry places in this country. There could not have been a better havoc. I have been working in the district since 1978 and I have been there right in the district project planning cell of a DPAP where the objective of the drought-prone areas program was to restore the ecological balance, and in the same district the objective of the agriculture development program was to intensify agriculture, which only meant green revolution, which only meant going more groundwater, subsidizing for wells, subsidizing for pumps, and subsidizing for anything from seeds onwards, chemical fertilizers, pesticides, all of it in a package with a great agriculture demonstration plots. Because agriculture is no longer a sustainable fashion of agriculture. It is simply marketized agriculture where inputs have to be purchased by the farmer. Think of it. Not 50 years back, farmers hardly purchased any inputs. The seed was his, fertilizer was his, there were pesticides which were biological pesticides, water was from the rainwater harvesting, open wells, tanks, and all these were rivers. These were the sources. Surface water was the source, and for which farmers did not have to pay. And now you have to pay for the electricity, although subsidized, you have to pay for the energization, you have to pay for the digging of the bore, you have to pay for labor, and then you have to pay for tractors. Animal has been replaced. It's a conspiracy because it is a hard option. You will have to work hard for it. The easier option is to close your eyes, have a representative coming from industry to tell you that, sir, this is the pesticides which is the latest, and you put it on it, and everything will be fine. Or you have now the same pesticide companies who have suddenly become environmentally very sensitive and aware. They said that sorry. In all these years what we have done was very bad. We have really created problem. Thanks to Rachel Carson, who wrote in 1962 a beautiful book called The Silent Spring. All of you who have not read, please get it and read it. And she created this sensitivity that we were killing the life in the water and on the earth using these kind of pesticides. So there is good amount of paschatap. So all these great pesticide industries became, they said, very sorry. Now we do something else. We will do genetic modification. And in this genetic modification, we know BT brinjal was mentioned. And I hope that there is definitely some fire there because the smoke is so much that Jairam Ramesh could not attend this. And you should know that it was the Ahmedabad meeting where we gave him real peace of his mind. I mean, he was open, of course. They cannot expect more than their roti out of the system. And this is our value. I can't, as a scientist, I can't become a rich multimillionaire. I should not aim at that. That is public leadership. This is what is public leadership. Because in whatever area, walk of life I am working, I must stand out and say things. And I welcome again, and I am sorry if there was any inconvenience last night for those of you who have stayed. There was some water problem, and that problem is going to more intensify, not in the campus, but generally for the humanity. Drinking water is a real problem going to become. But we all get experienced, and please visit our tribal museum. Not because it's a museum, and tribals have become museum, but we are trying to work with the tribal communities. We have a tribal research center, and we also have a beautiful campus where we are experimenting. We have put up some experiments in energy efficiency. We believe that human and animal energy, if this can be converted, that this is a good source of renewable energy. And that is why we wear khadi. And please, I am a great salesperson for khadi. Buy khadi and go. We have a shop. That shop is not owned by us. Profit will not come to us. Please don't worry about it. I am not that kind of a salesman. But if you will wear khadi, you will be wearing something which will be using renewable energy. Unfortunately, what was conventional has now become Department of Non-Conventional Energy. Convention is now as if electricity and coal is now the convention. And the rest for centuries which human being was using, the animal and human energy has become now non-conventional energy. So we may also become non-conventional species in no time. But barring that danger, I would still recommend that there is a clear need for us to go back to these basics. Please think about it seriously. Without many more words, I once again on behalf of Gujarat Vidyapeeth heartily welcome you, and I thank organizers for giving me this small opportunity to be with you. Thank you.